I just got off a call with a young lady, and I had to tell her, and maybe y'all need to share this, because if you're listening to this, it may not be for you, but do understand, a home built off of another woman's tears will never stand. A home built off another woman's agony, heartbreak, trauma, it will never stand. I don't know who this is for, or if it's not for you per se, maybe there's somebody on your timeline that needs to see it. But any woman that goes and grabs a man out of a relationship, if you were able to grab that man out of a relationship, you're in trouble. You just don't know it yet. You just don't know it yet. I know it feels like bliss. Ignorance is bliss. But it's really just a calm before the storm. You getting ready to go through the exact same thing that young lady has gone through, partly due to what part you played. You cannot build a home off of another woman's tears. I understand whenever you talk to a guy, he's going to show you a certain version of himself, and that version of himself is going to be just so kind, and you just couldn't imagine how he would do anything to deserve the kind of treatment that he's telling you about at home. Let me put it to you just like I did this young lady. Little backstory, by the way. So I actually had taken this masterclass down about breaking the soul tie because it's just too doggone good. It's about to be part of my paid courses, but I just put the link down one more time. Anyway, the sister asked the question afterwards about how to know if a man has changed. And I'm a believer that as men, we can change. We should evolve, right? Alpha male evolution. We don't just come out the womb perfect, knowing everything we're supposed to know. Cool. So I love this question. But as I dug deeper, I was actually a little disheartened because she's hoping that man changes from who he was in a relationship she's just now realizing is still present here. The same thing that ended his last relationship has already put their relationship in jeopardy, this new relationship. So the girl, basically, she went and snatched a dude from another chick, right? I'm going to pull him, I'm going to entice him, I'm going to whatever. I'm going to be his emotional plan B, because that's really what happened. His emotional plan B is that woman that he's going to talk to, trauma dump to, et cetera, et cetera. My girl is so bad, my wife is so bad, and then she's just right there to hold him and catch him and receive him every single time that he needs to escape from his situation that he created. So she was that. And now she's seeing that other woman wasn't the problem. Now she's seeing all of the toxic stuff that probably went on over there that ended their relationship. She's starting to get some of the disrespect. She's starting to get some of the wandering eyes that he has. And so she's asking me, D, how do I know if a man has changed? And I said, sis, well, there's context to it, because a man doesn't change by way of being enabled. I don't talk from a pedestal. I'm the right person to come to if you were to talk about somebody who got it wrong and then had to get it right after a lot of pain and consequences. But I can tell you what, there's not a single man, myself, or anybody else I've ever met that changed by being enabled in that toxic behavior, in those bad decisions. That's not how we change. We don't change just because my eyes are open now, I'm going to do it different. No. If it's something that we persisted in any type of pattern, that means that it happened at a subconscious level. You see, you looking for the man, I'm telling her this, like you looking for the man that you got whenever he was just vacationing with you. This ain't even a good man, bad man type of situation. As a human being, we go on vacation, we typically have what? A better demeanor. More smile on our face, we happy. Why? Because we're away from the monotony, we're away from home, we're here to have a good time, not a long time. And I said, sis, you played vacation. And you broke that man's home, or you were a part of that man breaking his own home. But you played vacation. But guess what? Now you're home. Now you're the place he wants to get away from. And you see, in strictly a sense of just in general, humans going on vacation, we want to get away from the work, etc. Nothing's wrong with that. They don't mean that we're bad at home. I'm saying it's an inaccurate assessment if you look at a man based on how he treats you, but you're just vacation. You're the place where he doesn't have to have all of those hard conversations. You're the place where he hasn't already damaged everything, and you're responding to that. So your vacation, right? Like at least that's what it was whenever you built the foundation to your relationship. That's the highest you could have ever gone and still received that version of that man. Because after he came back from vacation, he went right back to everything everything he was on before. And guess what? He didn't even have the conviction to deal with that, change that, fix that, learn and grow in that home because he always had you to go to. Now, both of y'all dummies, because y'all done started a whole relationship strictly off of that. But guess what he's realizing? Guess what he's realizing? That how he treats home is how home is going to treat him. He's realizing that all over again. And the same way that he got rewarded last time that he jumped ship, the same way he got rewarded last time that he left home and the mess he had created at home, same way he looking at other vacations now, sis. I had to keep it real. Because, again, I am an advocate for change, evolution, repentance, get it together. You know, you always can start fresh, like anybody, man or female. Now, male or female, man or woman. However, again, there are ways to know if a man has truly changed. Or at least, shall I say, you can guarantee that man has not. If that man hasn't put in any work, if there was never a time, because this is how we change, we have to have nowhere else to look but in the mirror at ourselves as the reason for everything that's going wrong in our lives. That's the only way a man can change. Only way a man can change. But if he had you to look to confirm and reiterate the bias that he had, the delusion that he had, that he was not the problem, she was the problem, blah, 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 blah. If he had you, he never got a chance to look in that mirror. So the same way you got him is going to be the same way that you lose him. Because you can't make that man all of a sudden say, hey, I need to look in the mirror. I need to get myself together. Every time I get to a spot in my relationship where I start resenting my woman, I just want to run. I don't want to deal with it. I can't sit in it. I can't, I just instead of navigating it and helping us both get to a resolution, I just go and find somebody else who I haven't damaged yet. You see, Evelyn says, question, do narcissists make stuff up and try to get a response? I can do Q&A, but it's going to be on the Masterclass, Evelyn. I put the Masterclass link down here. If you want access to it for free, we're going to do a Q&A right after that. So back to what I was saying. No man, myself or anybody else, is ever going to, quote unquote, change by being enabled, by being allowed to get rewarded. Again, when we meet these challenges, let's say, I'm going to just take you through the mind of a man in this situation, because some of them are evil, narcissists, okay, cool. But then there are some men who honestly don't know how to deal with the consequences of their own behavior. One, they don't even know how to acknowledge it. They don't even know how to, my woman is pushing away from me because I haven't met her emotional needs. They don't even know how to look at it honestly, right? She don't want to have sex with me because I'm over here giving sexual attention, energy, or maybe at one point I broke her trust and she still hasn't recovered from that. So in the mind of a man, he at first is going to go through everything else. Everybody else is the fault. Everybody else is the problem. If he's going to truly grow, he's going to say, you know what? Let me now plant new seed to reap new harvest. That's where a man starts to actually grow and evolve. Now, a man is going to remain in that pattern if he constantly has somebody else to escape in, cope with, et cetera, et cetera. He's going to just remain in that pattern. But the real change is in how he gets that need met, how he soothes, how he feels better when he gets to that low place. That's how a man changes. But that takes repetition. That takes practice. But if as a woman you come in and that woman, or that man is acting out or he's doing whatever he's doing because that's how he deals with that low place. He deals with that pain in his relationship, the challenges in his relationship by going to you and having a conversation, and now you just tell him you ain't did nothing wrong. Or you give him a place to just get a breather emotionally and mentally because he's made the toxic environment in his home so insufferable he can't breathe there. Now, he doesn't find a new way to deal with those emotions. Guess what? Even though you're a different woman, and yes, I do believe as a different woman, you may have a different version of that man that you get to experience for a while. Those same emotions are coming in your relationship. They may not come for the same reason. They may come, whatever. But the same feelings of, man, I can't stand her. Man, she don't understand me. Man, she disrespected me. Man, she whatever. She did something I don't like. Man, she ain't available enough. Whatever the feelings are, they're coming back. They're coming back. What's up, brother? So it's just, and that's consistent across the board. Man or woman. Everything that we do to act out, and whether we're going to break down or we're going to give up or we're going to self-sabotage, or if we're going to do something that actually gives us a way to not have to meet this exact same experience or circumstance again, It's all rooted in the emotion that we're trying to deal with. So, as a man or a woman, but I'm speaking to y'all, as a matter of fact, I would say y'all need to share this because I bet you somebody on your timeline thinking that they about to take this. Come on now. I've been there. If you think you're going to have something serious with that dude, he may come in with all the good intentions in the world. But all you did is strengthen his ignorance to the fact that he was the problem, at least partly so. He didn't cause her to do everything that she did, but there was some part he played. And you can't go from the vacation spot to home and thinking that you only going to get vacation spot version of him. And she argued me down with that. What every woman gets a different version of a man. I actually partly agree. But those versions still exist if he never dealt with them. If he was ever an alcoholic, you know what I'm saying? If he was ever an alcoholic in that relationship, you may get the version of him that's sober most of the time. But if he never dealt with him having an alcohol addiction himself, regardless of external, at some point, I hope y'all understanding that. The whole premise of this is, yes, as a woman, you may get a different version of that man. Y'all may be more compatible. I actually believe that sometimes the relationship don't work out and a man or a woman may be upset and that man or woman, you know, whoever the partner is can move on and have something great, something healthy. But if there was no space, if there was no work being done, whatever toxic things that person did in that last relationship is going to persist. The only chance that you got is if in a relationship with you, he somehow says, you know what, I got to do something different than what I did last time. And I wouldn't bank on it. I just wouldn't bank on it. Most people don't make that kind of turnaround. And I'm going to say for men, we don't make that kind of turnaround in the face of pleasure. We don't get rewarded for something, pleasure in doing something, and then turn around. We have to face pain. That's how men grow. We have to face loss. That's why you see, when I'm talking about alpha males, evolved men, I'm talking about men who have lost families. I'm talking about disappointed their children, shamed their mom, lost that one that got away. It's loss at the root of a changed man, not pleasure. That man didn't get away with all of his nonsense and then one day say, you know what, but this is wrong. I'm going to just stop. That's not how men change. Near-death experiences. And so when you're dealing with a man, this is in the general sense, you're dealing with a man who talked about what he did in his past. Oh, his ex was the problem, his ex was the problem. I'm not saying women can't be toxic. But if that man has not had any self-awareness about what he did that don't belong in any healthy relationship, you can guarantee that woman was his scapegoat, and he's the exact same version of himself he was back then. Whatever he did wrong is about to come into this relationship. You just not got that. You ain't got that version of him yet. You ain't got that version of him yet, but it's coming. You cannot build a home off another woman's tears. And I mean that in the context of you can't snatch that man out of that situation where he needed to grow. He needed to develop. Now, if he was in that relationship, he was toxic, he did what he did, but in the course of that relationship, he did grow, but it was just too little too late. That's where I would give an exception. Most times that's not it, by the way. But that's where I would give an exception. And still, you shouldn't be snatching him out of that situation. You should want to see that the man had the ability to leave and leave clean. Not leave and jump on into you, monkey branch to you, because you made yourself available. Again, that's too close for comfort. And I'm telling her this, she getting upset with me. Well, and I'm like, look, sis, I get it. She like, oh, there ain't but so many good men out here. That's the truth, but guess what? You didn't get one. You didn't get one. Not based on what she told me. If anything, you play it very distant, very safe, and you let that man, again, face his own consequences, face himself in the mirror, and then leave that situation completely because he might not have the ability to walk away until he has something else, which is a problem. That means he's going to force a relationship. That means he's going to fool a woman. That means he's going to keep an expectation that he's always going to be there. And then boom, all of a sudden being something new. Even that's a problem. Am I making sense? Put facts. If you know I'm speaking facts with fiction, if I'm just talking, if I'm just lying, if I'm just BS, I don't mind. I can hear the truth. Those of y'all who had a man and a woman came in and swooped him from you, I'm not saying you were innocent. Don't think that, see, I don't want you to look at a flaw or a way that you showed up was messed up and then therefore you say, well, that's the reason why. No, no, no. If he just left you because you know what, this no longer can work. This ain't going nowhere. I can't get the best out of you. I can't bring the best out of you. Maybe I just done burned the bridge. And then he leaves. That man may go and have a healthy relationship. I know we like to believe karma just attacks everybody we don't like, but that man may go and have something healthy. I'm not being biased. But if you had your flaws, your hangups, etc., and that man betrayed you out of that relationship, that man started building a whole new connection out of there, I'm here to tell you that that relationship is not going to last. At least, should I say this, the relationship health is not going to last. Because you have some women, they'll allow themselves to go through all of that just so they don't have to suffer the shame of she was right. The ex that was saying all of this stuff, she was right. Some women will just let themselves go through all the misery and stuff that you would not tolerate just so they don't have to face the social pressure, the social shaming that you was right. Either way, I'm just letting you know, everybody you lose ain't a loss. Even to another woman. Yeah, she should have respected girl code. Yeah, I shouldn't have went like X, Y, and Z. But at the end of the day, it's like somebody taking a cancerous tumor from you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you good. Sometimes God blesses you by what he takes from you. That's keeping it real with you. Again, all of this is with context. Now, if you were the problem in the relationship, ladies, if you were the toxic one, if you betrayed that man, et cetera, again, I still think he's going to just leave first. But guess what? You may have just lost your blessing, and you can always get another one. You got to change your ways. But vice versa, I see a lot of women, because women y'all love to compete with each other. I never understood that. But a lot of women think they could go ahead and grab that man because they got the version of him that was a provider, not knowing he was tricking. They got the version of him that was keying all the time, et cetera, et cetera. Not knowing at home with you, he was critical, he was negative, there was nothing that you could ever do right. They got the version of him that was so understanding and a great listener, not knowing that he didn't want to really listen to the accountability that he needed to face based on the decisions he made with you at home. You see, he ain't hurt her, he hurt you though. He's listening so long as it ain't him listening about how he's messed up, how he screwed up. And those women really get fooled into thinking, oh man, I'm gonna get what she ain't appreciating. Not yet. That you ain't gonna get it like that. There's a right and a wrong way to do everything. And see, now at this point, she has the soul tie to break, but she has to come into agreement with it. That's what I talked about on the Masterclass. You have to come into agreement with breaking the soul tie. You know, I go through the side effects of a soul tie. It already done started hurting her life in all these different ways. She got a soul tie with this dude, and she got a soul tie with some others. But nonetheless, she got all the tools, but she had to come into agreement with it. And I just, me hopefully releasing her to come into agreement so she can get her freedom, like everybody else who watched that free Masterclass. And if you want more on that, if you want more on the soul ties and all that kind of stuff, because maybe you ain't took nobody from nobody relationship, et cetera, but if you ever been with somebody who fumbled you, who did not deserve access to you, but you gave the best of you to that person, more than likely there's a soul tie there. More than likely, there's a 90% chance there's a soul tie there. And it's going to affect you in your new relationship. It's going to affect you even in your singleness until you break the soul tie. If you feel lost or not sure how to address that, again, I just put this masterclass back up. This is the last time it's going to be free. It's going to be up, but after this week, it's going into my paid courses. This is just too good. It's an hour and a half of me giving straight game. Tangibles, step by step on how to break soul ties, get your freedom emotionally, mentally, spiritually reset after a traumatic experience. So again, I put the link down here in the comments. It's also in the caption, and it's free. But ladies, if you see that man out here, he's flaunting that new girl around and was replaying in your head as all the ways that you deserve that, you deserve that. Let me tell you something. She gonna get what she deserved too. If she took him, not if he just moved on with his life. Not if he just moved on after some time and he done, you know what I'm saying? Y'all didn't work out and he done moved on. I'm not saying that. Don't go wishing bad on your ex just because, you know what I'm saying, y'all didn't work out. He wasn't his best self, but he's done the work now. He's on to a new relationship. But for those of y'all who got a man taken from you, first off, that's impossible. That man walked out on his own free will. That was a willing participant. He did not get taken. We don't get taken unless it's by literal being held at, you know what I'm saying, gunpoint. He didn't get taken. He got removed. He got removed by God that knew what was about to happen to you if you continued being in that relationship. Unfortunately, the sister who wasn't moving with God, the sister that was just going to do her own thing this time, and she was going to take that man out of that relationship thinking that she's saving him, she got to face her own consequences. She got to learn the hard way. You should be thankful it ain't you. That's all I want. You just should be thankful it ain't you. But those are just my thoughts. You know what I mean? Internet big brother, I got your back, looking out for y'all. I do this for free. Keep your money. Don't want it, don't need it. All I do want you to do is pay it forward. If something in this message resonated with you, I really think there's more people that need to hear this one. You cannot build a home off of another woman's tears. Word to the wise. Oh, and if you want more, again, this masterclass is coming down. Breaking the Soul Tie Masterclass. Y'all, this is my most powerful masterclass to date, and it's free. So if you want access to it before it becomes a paid course, my courses go $1,000 to $1,200 each. Some of y'all got it. Ain't no problem. You just wait if that's what you want to do. If you want it for free, this is your last opportunity. The link is down here in the comments. DerekFreeMasterclass.com.